I was standing in my grandmother's driveway, staring at a brand new BMW with a pink bow on it, and I felt something inside me just break. Not because I wanted the car, but because I knew exactly where the money came from. My inheritance. The $50,000 my grandmother had put in a college fund for me when I was born. Money she'd saved from her teaching salary over 30 years. Money she'd told me, with tears in her eyes just 6 months ago, would change my life. And my parents had given it to my 23-year-old sister. For a car. A car she'd crash within 3 months, but we'll get to that. Right now, I need you to understand something. This wasn't the first time. This wasn't even the worst time. This was just the moment I finally realized my parents would never choose me. Not when my sister existed. But my grandmother? She wasn't done fighting yet. My name is Rachel, and I've spent 27 years being invisible in my own family. My sister Melissa is 3 years younger than me, and from the moment she was born, she became the sun around which my entire family orbited. I became furniture. Useful when needed, ignored otherwise. When Melissa was 5, she needed speech therapy. Expensive speech therapy. My parents canceled my piano lessons, lessons I'd begged for, lessons I'd been taking for 2 years, to pay for it. You understand, don't you, Rachel? Your sister needs this more. I was 8. I understood that I didn't matter. When Melissa was in high school, she wanted to go to private school because her best friend was going. $40,000 a year. I was already enrolled at the state university. With a partial scholarship I'd worked my ass off to earn. But my parents sat me down and explained they couldn't help with my remaining tuition. They had Melissa's school to pay for. You're so independent, Rachel, so capable, you'll figure it out. I did figure it out. I worked 30 hours a week while taking a full course load. I graduated with a 3.8 GPA and $15,000 in student loans. Melissa dropped out of the private school after 1 year because it was too hard and she didn't vibe with the people there. My parents had already paid the full year's tuition, non-refundable. Did they acknowledge the waste? Did they apologize to me for not helping with my education? No. They threw Melissa a fresh start party and enrolled her in the public school I'd attended, the free one. My grandmother Marie was different. She was my mom's mother, a retired elementary school teacher who'd been widowed when I was 10. She lived 45 minutes away in a small house she'd bought in the 70s, with a garden she tended every morning and a mind sharper than most people half her age. And she saw everything. Your mother is making a mistake, she told me once when I was 16. We were sitting on her porch shelling peas. It was just us. Melissa never wanted to visit Grandma because there was nothing to do there. I'd just told her about the piano lessons. She's raising one daughter who will never stand on her own, and another who will never know she didn't have to stand alone. I didn't really understand what she meant then. I do now. Grandma was the one who came to my college graduation. My parents were there too, but they left the ceremony early because Melissa had a crisis. She'd broken up with her boyfriend of 2 months and was devastated. Grandma stayed. She took me to dinner. She told me she was proud of me, and she told me about the college fund. I set it up when you were born, she said, sliding an envelope across the table. Inside was documentation for an account with my name on it. $50,000. It's matured nicely. I was going to wait until you were 30 to tell you, give you time to establish yourself first, but I want you to know now. I want you to know that someone saw your hard work. Someone knew you. Deserved security. I cried in that restaurant. Ugly cried. Because it wasn't just about the money. It was about being seen. Don't tell your parents yet, she said, squeezing my hand. Not until you need it. Trust me on this. I didn't understand that warning then either. I should have. 6 months before the BMW incident, Grandma called me. It was a Thursday. I was at work. I'd been working as a nurse at a pediatric clinic for 3 years, saving money, living in a tiny apartment, trying to build the life I wanted. Rachel, honey. Her voice was different, smaller. I need you to come over this weekend. There's something we need to talk about. She had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months to live, maybe less. The doctors had found it late. She'd ignored symptoms for too long, not wanting to be a bother. I held her hand in that doctor's office and felt the world tilt. I'm not afraid, she said. I've had a good life. But I need to make sure some things are taken care of. She made me promise I'd handle her estate. She'd already talked to a lawyer, had everything drawn up. She was leaving her house to be sold and split between me and Melissa equally. She was fair, even when my parents hadn't been. But the college fund? That was mine. It had always been mine. The paperwork was airtight. Don't let them touch it, she said, and there was steel in her voice despite the tremor in her hands. That money is for your future. For nursing school, if you want to specialize. For a house, for security, not for your sister's whims. Grandma, they wouldn't… Rachel, she looked at me with those sharp eyes. Promise me. I promised. Grandma deteriorated faster than expected. Within 3 months, she was in hospice care. The kind of hospice that costs more per day than most people make in a week. But she had good insurance and savings. She was comfortable, alert, still herself, just fading. I visited every day after work. Sometimes I'd stay the night, sleeping in the chair next to her bed, just to be there. My parents visited once a week. Melissa came twice in 3 months. But one day, my mother showed up without calling first. I was at work. Grandma was alone with her, and my mother asked about the college fund. Grandma told me about it later that evening, her face tight with pain that wasn't physical. She said Melissa needs a car, Grandma whispered. That she got a new job, finally. But it's 30 minutes away and her old car broke down. They don't have money to buy her a reliable vehicle. She asked if I could loan them from your fund. My stomach dropped. What did you say? I said no. I told her that money is yours, legally yours, and I won't touch it. She grabbed my hand. But Rachel, she didn't take it well. She said I was playing favorites. That I'd always loved you more than Melissa. The accusation was so absurd it would have been funny if it wasn't so cruel. She said I was being vindictive. That I was punishing Melissa for being different from you. Different. That was the word they always used. Melissa wasn't irresponsible or entitled or spoiled. She was different. She had different needs. I told your mother to leave, Grandma said. She left angry. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my bank. Ms. Thompson, we're calling about the withdrawal from your account ending in 4729. I didn't have an account ending in 4729. Except I did. The college fund. The one Grandma had set up. Somehow, even though my name was on it, even though I'd never touched it, my mother's name was also on it. As a co-signer. Because Grandma had added her 27 years ago when I was a baby, just in case something happened and someone needed to access it for my care. Grandma had forgotten. In all these years, in all the updates to the paperwork, that one detail had slipped through. And my mother had used it. $50,000. Gone. I called my parents immediately. My dad answered. Oh, Rachel, your mom was going to call you. She stole my inheritance. Don't be dramatic. She borrowed it. We'll pay you back. You stole my inheritance to buy Melissa a car? Your sister needed transportation for work. This is a good thing. She's finally getting her life together. We're helping her become independent. I almost laughed. Almost. Because the irony was suffocating. They'd never helped me become independent. I'd had to claw my way to independence while they held me back to prop up Melissa. That money was mine. Grandma saved it for me. Your grandmother is very ill, Rachel. She's not thinking clearly. When she's gone, God forbid, you'll understand we did this for the family. Melissa is family. Her success is your success. Put Mom on the phone. She's busy with Melissa. They're at the dealership. They were at the dealership, right then, spending my money. I'm calling the police. For what? Your mother's name is on the account. Legally, she had every right to access it. If you make a fuss about this, you'll only upset your grandmother in her final days. Is that what you want? To spend her last weeks fighting with your family? The manipulation was masterful, cruel, but masterful. He hung up. I drove to the hospice center, shaking so hard I could barely hold the steering wheel. Grandma was awake. The nurse said she'd had a good day, relatively, alert, comfortable. I walked in, and she took one look at my face and knew. They took it, she said, not a question. I nodded, couldn't speak. I'm so sorry. Tears streamed down her face, real tears from a woman who rarely cried. The cosigner, I forgot. After your grandfather died, I added your mother just in case you needed something and I wasn't there. I meant to remove her when you turned 18, but I forgot. It's not your fault. It's entirely my fault. I trusted the wrong person with your future. We sat in silence for a long moment. Then she asked me to hand her the phone. What are you doing? Making a call, she said, and there was something in her voice. Something I'd never heard before. Something dangerous. Grandma dialed a number from memory, no looking it up. She knew it by heart. James? It's Marie Thompson. Yes, it's been too long. I'm well enough, given the circumstances. I'm calling in that favor you owe me. James. I didn't know any James. My granddaughter Rachel is sitting next to me. In a moment, I'm going to have her email you some documents. I need you to file them immediately. Yes, immediately. Tomorrow morning. I understand it's weekend work. I also understand you told me, and I quote, Marie, you gave me my career. If you ever need anything at all, I'm there. Well, I need this. She was silent, listening. Thank you, James. Rachel will send everything within the hour. And James? This stays between us until the papers are filed. Not a word to anyone. She hung up and looked at me. In my nightstand, purple folder, bring it here. I opened the drawer. The folder was labeled Rachel, emergency use only. Inside were documents, legal documents, dated from last year, shortly after her diagnosis. I started reading and felt my breath catch. The first document was an amendment to Grandma's will. It removed my parents as executors. It removed Melissa from inheriting anything except a symbolic $1. The house, the remaining savings, everything, it all came to me, with specific instructions that not a cent could be touched by anyone else. The second document was a letter detailing every instance of financial favoritism she'd witnessed over the years. Dated, specific. Including the college fund theft, she'd added that in recent days, anticipating it might happen. The third document was the nuclear option. A cease and desist letter, prepared by an attorney, demanding immediate return of the $50,000 plus interest. If not returned within 30 days, the lawyer would file a civil suit for theft and elder financial abuse. Elder financial abuse. Because my mother had exploited her position on the account while Grandma was in hospice, terminally ill, vulnerable. That charge could come with criminal penalties. Grandma, this could send Mom to jail. Your mother stole from you while I'm on my deathbed. She deserves whatever consequences come. But, Rachel, listen to me. She grabbed my hand with surprising strength. I don't have time for gentle lessons anymore. I'm dying. And I will not die knowing I left you unprotected. Your parents have made their choice. They chose Melissa over you for 27 years. They will not stop, not unless they're forced to. What's James going to file? Everything. The will amendment, the letter, the cease and desist, By Monday morning, your parents will receive notification that they're being sued for the money, that I've changed my will, and that if they don't return your inheritance, I'll file for criminal charges before I die. You'd really do that to your own daughter? Her face softened. My daughter stopped being the child I raised a long time ago, the woman who would steal from her own child while her mother is dying. I don't know her, and I won't let her destroy you. I sent the documents to James at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. He responded at 9:07 p.m. Consider it done. I'm sorry you're going through this, Rachel. Your grandmother is a remarkable woman. Then we waited. I stayed at the hospice that night. Grandma slept fitfully. I didn't sleep at all. On Saturday, I drove home to shower and change. I passed my parents' house on the way. I didn't live far from them, a fact I was beginning to regret. The BMW was in the driveway, shining, obscene. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. Love my new car. Thanks for understanding. Mom said you were cool with it since I needed it more. You're the best big sister. She actually thought I'd agreed to this. They'd told her I'd agreed. I didn't respond. Monday at 10 a.m., my mother called. I was at work. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. 7 times in 20 minutes. Then my dad called. Then Melissa. Then my mother called from my dad's phone. On the 8th call, I answered. You ungrateful, selfish bitch. My mother, screaming. I'd never heard her scream like that. What did you do? What did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you dare lie to me. Your grandmother is suing us. For what? For helping your sister? For being a family? For stealing my inheritance. We didn't steal anything. That money was in an account with my name on it. Legally, it was as much mine as yours. It was set up for me, by Grandma, for my education and future. You stole it to buy Melissa a car. Your sister needed that car. Then you should have bought it. With your money. We don't have that kind of money just lying around. We have expenses. Do you know how much Melissa's therapy costs? How much we've spent trying to help her find herself? 23 years old and still finding herself on my parents' dime. That's not my problem. Not your problem? We're your family. When did you become so cold, so selfish? The word hit like a slap. Selfish. Me. The daughter who'd paid her own way through everything, who'd never asked for help, who'd worked full-time while earning a degree. You have 48 hours to return the money, I said quietly. All of it. Plus the interest that account was earning. Or Grandma's lawyer files criminal charges for elder financial abuse. Silence. Then, she wouldn't. She already has the paperwork ready. You stole from me while she's in hospice dying. That's textbook elder abuse. I'm her daughter. And I'm yours. But that didn't stop you from choosing Melissa over me for 27 years. Why should family loyalty suddenly matter now? More silence. Then my dad's voice, having grabbed the phone. Rachel, let's all calm down. We can fix this. We'll sell the car, return the money. You have 48 hours. After that, it's out of my hands. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From something else. Something that felt like power. That evening, I got a text from my dad. Family meeting, tonight, 7 p.m. Your grandmother's hospice. We're settling this. I called the hospice. Grandma was awake and had approved visitors. I arrived at 6:45 p.m. My parents were already there. So was Melissa, looking confused and red-eyed. The hospice nurse looked uncomfortable. Your grandmother said you all could use the family room. She's quite insistent this gets resolved tonight. We gathered in a small conference room. Grandma was wheeled in, oxygen tank beside her, but her eyes were clear and sharp. My mother started immediately. Mom, I need you to understand. Sit down. Grandma's voice was weak but commanding. "All of you, sit." We sat. "I'm dying," Grandma said. "We all know this. I have maybe a few weeks left if I'm lucky. And I will not spend what time I have left watching my family tear itself apart." "Then drop the lawsuit," my mother said. "This is tearing us apart." "No, your theft is what tore us apart. The lawsuit is just the consequence." "It wasn't theft. My name was on that account. Because I put it there 27 years ago in case Rachel needed something and I was incapacitated. Not so you could raid it for your other daughter's convenience. Melissa isn't just my other daughter. No, she's the daughter you've chosen every single day for 27 years. The room went silent. Grandma turned to Melissa. "Melissa, honey, I want you to understand something. I love you, I do. But your parents have failed you almost as badly as they failed your sister." Melissa's eyes widened. "What?" "They've taught you that you deserve everything without working for it. That your sister exists to sacrifice for you. That the world owes you comfort. Those are lies, sweetheart. Cruel lies that will destroy your life." "Grandma, I don't understand. The car they bought you, where do you think the money came from?" Melissa looked at our parents. You said Rachel agreed. That she didn't need the money right now, and I did." I saw my mother's face flush. "They lied to you," Grandma said gently. "That money was your sister's college fund. I saved it for 27 years. Your mother stole it without asking Rachel. Your sister found out when the bank called about the withdrawal." Melissa turned to me, shock written across her face. "Is that true?" I nodded. "But Mom said, you said you were happy for me." "I never said anything to you," I said quietly. "They told you I agreed so you wouldn't feel guilty." Melissa's face crumpled. And for the first time in maybe her entire life, I saw something like awareness cross her features. I didn't know. I wouldn't have, if I'd known." "Wouldn't you?" Grandma asked, not unkindly. "Or would you have accepted it anyway, like you've accepted every other sacrifice your sister has made for you?" "That's enough," my father said, standing. "Mom, you're turning this family against each other." "I'm revealing what's already there," Grandma snapped. "Sit down." He sat. Grandma looked at each of us in turn. Then she spoke, and every word was measured, final. "Here's what's going to happen. You will sell that car, today, tomorrow at the latest. You will return every cent of Rachel's money within 48 hours, as specified in the legal notice. If you do this, I will not file criminal charges." "And if we don't?" my mother asked, jaw tight. "Then I file charges for elder financial abuse. You will be arrested. You will likely be convicted, and you will definitely lose your jobs, your reputation, and any inheritance you thought you were getting from me." "You'd really do that? To your own daughter?" "To protect my granddaughter from you? Yes." My mother's face went white. "But there's more," Grandma continued. "I've changed my will. The house is going to Rachel. The savings are going to Rachel. Melissa gets $1. The legal minimum to show I didn't forget her, so she can't contest it." "Mom!" "You made your choice. You've spent 27 years making that choice. Every time you took from Rachel to give to Melissa. Every time you made her smaller so Melissa could feel bigger. Every time you taught one daughter she was worth everything and the other that she was worth nothing. That's not what we... That's exactly what you did, and I won't reward it." Melissa was crying now, quiet, shocked tears. "Grandma, I didn't know," she whispered. "I really didn't know they were doing this." Grandma's expression softened slightly. "Then prove it, sweetheart. Give your sister her money back. Sell the car. Get a job that doesn't require a BMW. Show me you're capable of being the woman I hoped you'd become, instead of the victim your parents made you." My mother stood up, shaking with rage. "You're a spiteful, hateful old woman." "I'm a dying woman who's run out of patience for your delusions. Get out. You have 48 hours. The next time I see you, it better be with a check for $50,000 or I'm making that call to the police." My parents left. Melissa hesitated, looking between me and Grandma, then followed them out. Grandma sagged back in her wheelchair, exhausted. "Did I do the right thing?" she asked me, voice small. I knelt beside her chair. "Yes, God, yes. I won't be here to protect you much longer. You've protected me enough, more than enough." She squeezed my hand. "Make sure they pay you back. Don't let them guilt you into forgiving the debt." "I won't." "And Rachel? When I'm gone, live. Really live. Not just survive. You've been surviving your whole life. That money is for living." 36 hours later, I got a call from the hospital. Melissa had been in a car accident. The BMW, the car bought with my inheritance, had been totaled. Melissa had run a red light while texting. She'd hit another car, a sedan with a woman and her 8-year-old daughter inside. They were okay. Minor injuries. Melissa was okay too, just a broken arm and some cuts. But the car was destroyed. I arrived at the hospital to find my parents in the waiting room, looking shell-shocked. "The insurance won't cover it," my father said when he saw me. She'd only had the car 2 weeks. We hadn't updated the policy with the new vehicle information. We're liable for the damages to the other car. The other car. At least 20,000 in damages, probably more. "We need help," my mother said. "We need to borrow." "No. Rachel, please." "Where's my money?" Silence. The 48 hours are up in 6 hours. Where's my money? "We were going to sell the car," my dad said, "but now it's crushed metal. That's not my problem. You have 6 hours. "We don't have it," my mother shouted. "We spent some of it already. The car was $45,000. We used the rest to pay off some credit cards. We don't have $50,000 just sitting around." "Then take out a loan, sell something, figure it out. But if I don't have my money in 6 hours, Grandma makes the call." I left them there. They got me the money. I don't know how. I don't want to know how. But at 11:47 p.m., 13 minutes before the deadline, my father showed up at my apartment with a cashier's check for $50,000. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 2 days. "Here," he said, shoving the check at me. "Your blood money. I hope it makes you happy." "It's not blood money. It's my inheritance that you stole. We gave you life. We raised you. Doesn't that count for something? You raised me to believe I didn't matter. That I existed to make things easier for Melissa. That my accomplishments were just expected, not celebrated, because I was the capable one. You taught me that love was conditional, that I only mattered when I was useful. That's not... It is. And if it took losing $50,000 for you to see that, then maybe you needed to learn that lesson." He stood there, and for a moment, I thought he might actually apologize, might actually see it. Instead, he said, "Your mother and I are taking out a second mortgage to pay for the car accident damages. We're 60 years old. We'll be paying this debt until we die. I hope you can live with that." "I can. Can you?" He left without another word. Grandma deteriorated rapidly after that week. The stress, the doctor said. The emotional toll. It had accelerated things. I spent every day at her side. My parents didn't visit. Melissa came once, cried, apologized, and left. On what would be her last lucid day, Grandma held my hand and smiled. "Did they pay you back?" "Yes." "Good. Did you deposit it?" "Not yet." "Do it soon. Money sitting around is money that can disappear." She coughed, a rattling sound. "What will you do with it?" "I don't know yet. Maybe nursing school. Pediatric specialization. I've always wanted that. You'd be wonderful at it. We sat in comfortable silence. Then she said, I'm sorry I didn't do this sooner. Do what? Stand up to your mother. Protect you. I thought if I stayed neutral, I could keep the family together. But there's no neutrality in injustice. Staying silent when someone is being hurt is choosing the side of the person doing the hurting. You did enough, Grandma. I should have done it 20 years ago. Grandma died on a Tuesday morning with me holding her hand. My mother found out from the hospice. She called me, crying. Why didn't you call me? I'm her daughter. I deserve to be there. You didn't visit her for the last 3 weeks of her life. You made your choice. The funeral was small. Grandma had specified, no flowers. Donations to the local literacy program instead. My parents sat in the front row. I sat 1 row back, separated from them. During the eulogy, given by one of Grandma's former teaching colleagues, my mother cried loudly, dramatically. Afterward, during the reception, she told anyone who would listen that I'd kept her away from her mother in her final days. That I'd poisoned Grandma against her own daughter. No one who knew Grandma believed it. The will reading was 2 weeks after the funeral. It was just me, my parents, Melissa, and James, Grandma's lawyer, the one she'd called from hospice. James read the will aloud. The house, appraised at $340,000, to Rachel. The savings and investments, totaling $127,000, to Rachel. The car, a paid-off 2019 Honda, to Rachel. Personal effects and jewelry, to Rachel, with some specific pieces designated for Melissa. To Melissa, $1 specifically noted as intentional to prevent contest. To my mother and father, nothing, with a note explaining that they'd received their inheritance over the years through the financial support given to them and Melissa. My mother sat in stunned silence. Then Melissa spoke. I don't want the jewelry, she said quietly. Rachel should have all of it. Everyone turned to look at her. I've been thinking about everything Grandma said, about the car and the money and everything. She looked at me. I've been selfish. Maybe not always on purpose, but selfish. And I'm sorry. It was the first real apology I'd ever heard from her. I got a job, she continued. A real job. At a call center. It's not glamorous, but it's 40 hours a week and it has benefits. I'm moving into my own apartment next month. A studio. I'm going to learn to stand on my own. My mother started to interrupt. Melissa, you don't have to. Yes, I do, Mom. I'm 23 years old. I should have done this years ago. She turned back to me. I can't fix what they did, what I benefited from. But I can try to be better going forward, if you'll let me. I didn't know what to say. James cleared his throat. There's one more thing. A letter. From Marie. To Rachel. To be read aloud here. He handed me an envelope. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single page written in Grandma's careful handwriting. I read it aloud. My dearest Rachel, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I hope I'm somewhere I can still see you, because watching you grow into the woman you are has been the greatest joy of my life. I'm sorry I left you with such a mess. A broken family, angry parents, a sister who's been stunted by the same favoritism that hurt you. That's not the legacy I wanted to leave. But I'm not sorry I fought for you. Not sorry I made sure you'd have security. Not sorry I held your parents accountable. Because here's what I learned in my 78 years. Sometimes love isn't gentle. Sometimes it's setting boundaries, demanding respect, refusing to enable harm. Your parents love Melissa, I believe that. But their love was poisoned by fear. Fear that she couldn't survive without them. Fear that admitting they'd failed her meant admitting they were bad parents. So they overcompensated. And in doing so, they taught Melissa to be helpless and you to be invisible. That ends now. The money I'm leaving you isn't just for security. It's a foundation. A launching pad. It's me saying, you don't have to keep surviving, you can start thriving. Go back to school if you want. Start a business, buy a house, travel the world. Whatever calls to you. But do me one favor. Forgive them if you can. Not because they deserve it, not because you have to have them in your life, but because carrying anger is like drinking poison and expecting them to die from it. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean pretending they didn't hurt you. It means releasing yourself from the prison of waiting for them to apologize. They might never see what they did wrong. They might never change. That's their tragedy. Don't let it be yours. Live, Rachel, loudly, fully, unapologetically. And when you do something wonderful, and you will, know that I'm somewhere, watching you, and so incredibly proud. All my love, Grandma. I finished reading and realized I was crying. So was Melissa. My father was staring at the floor. My mother was stone-faced, but her hands were shaking. 6 months after Grandma died, I enrolled in a pediatric nurse practitioner program. I sold Grandma's house. The market was good. I got $375,000 for it. After splitting it with Melissa per Grandma's original will instructions, I didn't feel right keeping it all. I had enough to pay for school, buy a small condo, and still have savings. Melissa kept her job at the call center, started therapy, moved into her studio apartment, and learned to pay her own bills. We got coffee once a month, slowly rebuilding something that might eventually resemble a sisterly relationship. My parents, we don't talk much. They sent a Christmas card. I sent one back. Polite, distant. My mother called once, asking if we could start fresh. I told her I wasn't ready. Maybe someday, maybe never. I'm okay with either outcome. Because here's what Grandma taught me in the end. I don't owe anyone access to my life just because we share DNA. Family is supposed to be the people who see you, support you, celebrate you. If they can't do that, they're just people you happen to be related to. And I'd rather be alone than invisible. 1 year after Grandma died, I visited her grave. I'd finished my first year of the NP program, top of my class. I had a job offer waiting for when I graduated, a pediatric oncology clinic, working with kids who needed the kind of specialized care I was learning to provide. I'd bought a small condo, nothing fancy, but it was mine, fully mine. I'd started dating someone, a teacher I'd met at a friend's party. Someone kind, who listened, who didn't expect me to be anything other than who I was. Life was good, not perfect, still complicated, still processing 27 years of being second best. But good. I knelt by Grandma's headstone and traced the engraving of her name. I did it, Grandma, I whispered. I'm thriving, not just surviving. Thriving. The wind picked up, rustling through the trees. And I swear, somewhere, I heard her voice. I knew you would, honey. I always knew you would. 3 years later, I got a call from Melissa. Rachel, I need to tell you something. My stomach dropped. Are you okay? I'm fine, more than fine. I'm getting married. Melissa, that's wonderful. Yeah. His name is David, he's an accountant. Steady, kind, normal. Nothing like the guys I used to date. I'm so happy for you. There's something else. We're planning the wedding, and Mom keeps trying to turn it into this big, expensive thing. Wants to invite 200 people, have it at this fancy venue, the whole thing. Sounds like Mom. I told her no. I told her David and I want something small, intimate. Just the people who actually matter to us. She paused. I told her she couldn't come unless she apologized to you. A real apology. I sat down, stunned. Melissa, you don't have to. Yes, I do. You're my sister. What they did to you was wrong. I can't change the past, but I can make sure it doesn't keep happening. So I told them, apologize to Rachel and mean it, or you're not coming to my wedding. What did they say? Dad said he'd think about it. Mom hung up on me. But Rachel, I don't care. I'm done letting them pretend what they did was okay. I'm done being their excuse. For the first time in our lives, my sister was standing up for me. Thank you, I whispered. I should have done it years ago. But better late than never, right? Right. After we hung up, I looked at Grandma's photo on my mantle, and I smiled. Because sometimes justice isn't a dramatic confrontation or a legal victory. Sometimes it's just people finally learning to do better, even if it takes them way too long.